It's a quiet question. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It usually shows up at weddings or on Valentine's Day or during those late night scrolling sessions when it seems like everyone you've ever known is holding a hand that isn't yours. No boyfriend since birth. 4 words that carry a strange, heavy stigma. People ask you, how are you still single? As if you're a puzzle they can't solve. They look for the flaw. They wonder if you're too picky, too shy, or too guarded. And eventually you start to look for the flaw too. You look in the mirror and wonder if there is a sold-out sign hanging over your heart that only you can't see. Being NBSB doesn't mean you haven't loved. It doesn't mean you haven't felt the sting of a crush or the hollow ache of a maybe. Your life is a museum of almosts. The guy in the back of the lecture hall, the friend who never saw you that way, the delusional hope that a certain text meant more than it did. You have experienced the almost so many times that you've become an architect of fantasy. You build entire lifetimes in your head with people who don't even know your middle name. There is a specific kind of loneliness in being a spectator of everyone else's romance. You are the designated third wheel. The best friend, the one who gives the best relationship advice because you've watched it all from the sidelines. You are an expert on love, yet you've never been allowed into the room. We live in a world obsessed with milestones. By 18, you should have had your first kiss. By 22, your first heartbreak. By 25, a serious partner. When you hit those ages and your relationship status is still a blank space, the world treats you like you're falling behind in a race you never signed up for. You start to feel like a book that everyone keeps skipping over at the library. You're in mint condition. The pages are crisp. The story is deep, but the cover remains closed. But let's pause here. What if your waiting isn't a delay? What if it's a protection? There is something incredibly powerful about an NBSB heart. Think about it. Your heart hasn't been shattered by a first love who didn't know how to handle it. You haven't been taught to be cynical. You haven't been dimmed by someone who is intimidated by your life. Most people spend their 20s and 30s trying to unlearn the toxic habits they picked up in bad relationships. They spend years trying to glue the pieces of themselves back together. But your pieces are all there. You are whole. You are intact. You have had the rare opportunity to grow into a full, complex human being without someone else's influence shaping your edges. You know what you like, what you value, and who you are, not because of a boyfriend, but because of you. People say you're too picky. Maybe you are. And maybe that's your greatest superpower. When you've waited this long, the price of entry into your life becomes higher. You aren't going to settle for someone who treats you like an option because you've already learned how to be your own first choice. You aren't going to accept a half love because you've spent your whole life holding out for the real thing. Being NBSB means you aren't afraid of the silence. You've already mastered the art of being alone. And when you aren't afraid of being alone, you are dangerous to people who use love as a tool for control. You cannot be manipulated by the fear of loneliness, because loneliness is an old friend of yours. You've already survived it. Imagine the person who is eventually going to love you. Imagine how they will feel when they realize they don't have to compete with the ghosts of your exes. Imagine the reverence they will feel when they realize they are the first ones to hold the hand you've kept for yourself all these years. Your firsts aren't gone. They aren't wasted. They are being saved for someone who has the maturity to appreciate the weight of them. You are not behind. You are being curated. You are a secret that the world is keeping until the person who knows how to keep a secret arrives. So to the girl or the woman who feels the sting of the NBSB label, change the narrative. You aren't no boyfriend since birth. You are owned by no one since birth. You are uncompromised since birth. Enjoy your unwritten pages. Travel, build your career, deepen your friendships, and fall in love with the person you are becoming. Because one day when that story finally begins, you're going to want to be someone worth reading. And when that person finally arrives and they ask you about your past, you can look them in the eye and say, I waited for you, and looking back, it was the best decision I ever made.